pressure. I feel strongly that we can do this job satisfactorily for everybody if we keep a relatively low profile, but consider the feelings of both the outside people, the inside people, to the greatest extent possible, yet do the job that we have to do as individuals and as a commission as a whole. About all I can say.
Okay, Frank. Rick? You have comments?
Well, first, if I want to assure everyone here, if Frank is elected, that I'm certainly going to be no less conscientious or enthusiastic about my work on the commission. It's a little bit of a disadvantage to be chairman, because you, at least in my case, and I'm sure in Frank's case too, it keeps you a little quieter. And I think that if I have a particular point that I'd like to get across, it's appropriate that I would step down. However, I agree with Frank that the only reason for formality is when we have a problem with control. And with this group, I just frankly don't anticipate that. The other reason, there's one other reason for formality, and that I think that we ought to, in the public, in attending the meetings, I think we ought to give a fairly formal approach to our activity. I think we ought to treat everyone with a great deal of respect, but yet firmly. I think that I just really don't anticipate that there's ever a time in our meetings, whether it's a formal public hearing or not, that we won't hear someone when they want to be heard. I really don't have any preconceived ideas about how long we should take, or any of that. I think with that, I'll end.
Thank you, Dick.
If anyone cares to ask me questions, it's fine.
Do we have any questions of either of the nominees?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
would it be appropriate to, since this is somewhat different from other elections that I have participated in, for the maker of the motion for support of Mr. Reed, that I might say a few words on his behalf, and would that be appropriate? I certainly would go by the will of the...
We'll have one seconding speech on each one. You can have one, and anyone else, go ahead. Just one of you.
Right. I think that it's very important, the choice that we're making. I think both the candidates have outlined their basic approach. I think both of them would be men that we could go to share our concerns in the event that we feel perhaps approaches need modified. But I think in the case, and the reason I would like to speak for Frank, that I think he brings something very special to this group, which is he has not been directly involved in the borough city acrimony in the past. I think he comes in with a great deal of basic respect in the community. He has displayed the fair-mindedness over his years of community involvement. I think I have sat with him here at the borough when we've attempted to get this issue of unification back on the ballot. I don't think there's any question of his sincerity and desire to see this particular item pass. I think that he will conduct a meeting so that there can be full debate, and we're going to be faced with some very thorny, some very difficult situations. And I think just by his personality, which he has a very calm outlook, I think, on life, I think he will bring not only to this body when we're acting, but to the public body, and that's very important, this sense of fair play and the ability to hear from all parties. And I would strongly urge the Commission to support Mr. Reed for chairman.
Is there a second speech for Dick?
Yes, under the ground rules of small privilege do that.
Obviously, whoever is chosen, the commission is also a good start because we have two excellent candidates. I think everything that are said about Mr. Reed is true, and I've known Mr. Reed since 1961. I think those things are also true of Mr. Fisher, and I think it's obvious that he has, if I may take the liberty of saying so, perhaps an unparalleled interest in the subject matter of this commission as witnessed his prior service, and the fact that as a candidate in the recent election, he, I think it's just encouraged to do so, allied himself very much with the unification of the cause, perhaps at the expense of some personal support he might have otherwise gotten. More than that, I think he has the strength of prior immediate experience with the prior charter. I think it's important that all of us recognize we're 11 equals, but in terms of the chairmanship, I think the fact that he was elected on an area-wide basis is another attribute in terms of the public acceptability both in and out of the city when we complete our mission. I think these are important considerations. I have no doubt about his fairness, and I'm impressed by the fact that he has spoken to me and indicated strong commitment to public involvement in probably innovative ways. And I think that that's the kind of approach that will be needed if we're going to get a broad consensus, not 51%, but a much broader community consensus. So while I think that we're not going to fail in either event, those things have made me nominate him.
Ray John, thank you. Well, we'll close the seconding speeches now and we'll go on to the vote itself. We're voting for two experienced candidates here. One has been chairman of the city charter and Dick was chairman of the last unification charter. So both are well qualified, and the rest is up to yourselves. So we'll have the 11 pieces of paper and we'll have a secret balloting. And
Do we have a
Number
number
one borough paper for this?
Well,
Oh, you've got all sorts of tablets here. Come on, let's not waste the paper.
James Lee didn't there.
No. Mr. Chairman, would it be appropriate to appoint a teller to count, an official teller to count the ballots?
we can do that.
You'll be the two the borough attorney.
Sounds fair enough.
That's one.
Yeah, is that reasonable?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've got it now. You got it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. More.
If there's any more than 11 when you're through, we've got a problem.
That's right.
Remember that.
Are you short ones?
If it's a tie vote, we're in trouble.
Okay.
Yours is a marked ballot, you
You gotta
understand?
get a piece of paper.
Didn't you get on the ballot?
You gotta give me a vote here. Gotta give me one.
There we are.
One for you.
Bill? Oh.
Alice hadn't had one yet.
Setting one back there, James.
But you saw them, it's right there. So let's look at it. Kelly person?
Get up 11 there. Count them out.
Miracle.
I went through this when Jay Hammond was elected president of the Senate in it. Okay, I
10-10.
He was in several times. Swore we were going to vote for Howard Bradshaw.
Were you there the 2020 year in the House?
I was in the 2020.
That only took 8 days.
You
were there too. 8 days.
I'll go through them if you can. I'll write them if you don't need.
You haven't read them out loud, Mr. Talley.
Oh, if you send it out, I'll write it if you say
Why don't you
it.
just
Well,
two Reeds? We have Reed, and Fisher. Fisher.
Whoops.
Fisher. Reed.
It's gonna be clear.
Reed. What is it? What a three. Reed, 5 to 3.
They're wrecking.
Fisher. 4. Fisher. Reed.
That's just Mr. Johnson, I move that the minutes reflect the unanimous adoption.
Second.
So moved. We'll make James minutes so reflect that.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Frank. I
Thank you.
Chair, it's all yours.
Thank you, Dave.
Congratulations, Frank.
I think, take off as chair, I believe there's a borough attorney here tonight.
Right here.
Very good. There he is.
And I think you have a copy, or may have available to us, a copy of the ordinance, providing us with funds to work with and so forth and so on.
Well, what happened was back around last September, the Assembly set aside $50,000 in the contingency fund for this commission if it should come about. So what you're going to have to do is make a request to the Assembly to release part or all of that money for your operating expenses. And they'll do it by resolution,
We can do
or
that.
by ordinance, I mean.
We can do that at the, does that have to be at a regular meeting?
It could be a regular or special meeting,
Be a regular or special meeting?
but it could be done quite quickly.
that could be done next Monday night if all goes well.
It could be.
We can't take it up at the special meeting unless it has been scheduled for the special meeting by the Assembly previous to the special meeting.
Yes.
Does that function allow us the control of the money, the spending of the money?
Yes. You're entirely on your own.
Will there be office space available here or elsewhere within the borough complexes?
Well, you'd have to ask the Assembly to make the office space available to you because that'd be over and above the $50,000. As far as legal research or Xeroxing, this type of thing, I know that if you ask anybody in our office for that type of service, we'll be at your command. And I'm sure that Joel would give you a hand too anytime you ask for it. I'm sure that eventually you're going to have a staff attorney and probably the executive secretary. But even after you have staff, we're at your service.
I would like to say to the balance of the commission at this time that I think the faster we can get this done, the sooner we can get at it, the quicker we can move, the better off we're going to be. I would like, I think in my idea is that we should have an executive secretary, not an executive director. There's been one suggestion made to me. I have no preconceived ideas of who, but there was one suggestion, two suggestions in fact. Peg Benkert was one, and Bev Eisenson was another. And I would appreciate any suggestions from the balance of the Charter Commission.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would think that first, one of our first duties here is to elect the deputy chairman, and from there, I would like to suggest that you appoint a committee to view a budget and to come back to this body with a budget recommendation.
Points are
No
well taken.
suggestion, but get through those.
Also a committee to select the executive secretary, and I think, rather than 11 is kind of doing it, you'd appoint a
You
committee.
can't.
Mr. Chairman, I wonder on that particular thing if we might consider just to expand just a little bit. I think we have the budget, which would include your legal office supplies and so on. I think we need, possibly through ad hoc committees, we could come back within a week or so. For instance, the approach that we would utilize with the attorney, I think, takes some special consideration and care. Rules of procedure, operating rules, say the qualifications for the executive secretary, and then a determination by the body as to how they would wish. I think we should perhaps consider equal employment opportunity. I think some of these things we could handle through ad hoc committees and come back at an early time, or just by, as Mr. Fisher said, one particular committee to work through some of these.
We're going to have to know where we're going when we're meeting and what we can, what our finances are, what is available to us. I would like to appoint probably Arliss and Lisa to do some research on the qualifications for an executive secretary. I would like to appoint Joe Josephson, Fred Shy, to look into the approach on a type of approach on an attorney, what we would like to have. Personally, I'll commit at this moment to you the fact that I feel we don't need an attorney at every meeting or a regular staff attorney all the time. I feel that we can produce what we need and then go to an attorney for polishing, finishing, and its relationship to Constitution.
Let's get an attorney that speaks in English.
All right.
Slow things down.
I would like to appoint permanent parliamentarian, and that I would like to be Mrs. Fergalus. I would like Dick would consider looking into the ordinance. Dick and Sherry would look into the ordinance and see what we have available and make a presentation back to, actually request to, we better have the budget first, hadn't we? Seems to me you're right. We should have the budget before we request from the, and you've had experience with budgetary demand of this type of body, and if you and Sherry Holmes, you're going to be gone. How about Bill Sheffield then?
Fine.
Fine.
Mr. Chairman, the law states that this commission make up a budget and present it to the assembly, basically that the borough pay the bills. So we're not really limited. I think the budget committee is important in its structure of the entire staff of the commission, and in terms of what we're doing along the floor. But that is the law.
Are you,
Is there draft the budget or the ordinance?
how's that?
When you say the ordinance, you mean
Well,
just
it is,
$50,000?
yes, right.
That would have to be part of the budget.
You gotta present the budget on the book. Then, if,
There was no mandate that we spend it on.
no. If,
What the last one?
see, one other,
There's two of them. Which one? First one, second one. First one was about 35, the second was about 30.
all right, let's see, what else is there that we should
Mr.
read?
Chairman? I wonder if you'd like to consider adopting or having someone come back with just some very basic rules of procedure to, you know, set a quorum and the fact that you would adhere to Robert's rules except in certain cases.
Well, I think that would,
Chairman, I was
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Bill?
Well, I probably want to answer that one first. Arlen said probably would be a good one for that. Or the parliamentarian.
Parliamentary.
Like, you know, bring those back for everybody's consideration.
Mr. Chairman,
Could, yes, Bill.
the Sturgill Parker Committee on the Executive Secretary would be developing a job description as well as qualifications.
Qualification, job description.
because it would have to be advertised,
Right.
Right.
I would
Yeah,
imagine,
if you're,
to be legal.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman, for the committee consideration.
You might have
Sheffield.
mentioned it earlier, but one other important committee is where and when to meet. And I'd recommend that where we meet, nothing against the Borough Library, but if we're going to be
it would take,
working for 5 or 6 months, we ought to have something large enough.
How about the
in our
Sheffield
room and
That round,
top of the
the
road.
room or the restaurant. Yeah, right. Don't believe I can afford it.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if we have to have a committee for that. But, you know, we should discuss that tonight.
It needs to be discussed, I would think.
And our first
Location and
location and our
time.
first return meeting.
Important.
Yeah.
But
Perhaps it's not appropriate.
well, Frank talked about an informal type of meeting
Yeah.
rather than a very formalized type of thing, which is very conducive to having something outside of here instead of having it in the borough office.
What about one of the school libraries?
Well, what's going to be convenient for all of us? I'm looking at these addresses. Joe is downtown, and Dick
They're in and
is
out.
down,
Mary's at the far end of the hill.
and most of the people are coming
Right, that's right.
quite a ways this way. Now, Mary is going to have some problems, perhaps, if there's a conflict of meetings with something she has to do for the assembly. Jane, I'm not sure. 3343 West 86th is that would be really. Huh? They voted down. So maybe somewhere like on a community college campus or some place of that nature might be consortium library.
I don't know what their time.
Out to by the hospital.
Yeah, right.
Just across the street from the hospital.
That would be nice. I suspect, unless things have changed, that they have been continually short of space. And
What
with the
about-
new building, it may be different.
What about checking with AMU and seeing
Oh.
if
We had AMU the last time.
Yeah.
we've got a
That
spot,
boardroom.
boardroom that maybe not be used for the evening?
Mr. Chairman, are we, this is a subject that we want to get into right now, or let me suggest that you appoint someone as perhaps someone in the borough could look into the possibilities, and if I could give a view of that, I would like to. I think that we ought to separate ourselves as much as possible from either the government entities or the school, and lean toward some other public place, and possibly one of the universities.
I do agree with you that it would be best to stay as much away from it as possible, but it should be where it's easy or relatively easy for the public to get to and find. I don't want to be buried somewhere where if somebody comes looking for us, well, there's a fourth room down the hall and the third floor up or something.
Ideally, I think the consortium library is a nice
Yeah.
central spot, but
Let's make that our first choice. See what
That's a
happens.
nice thing.
Well, let's ask Jane and, yeah,
We have a lot of meetings there. You know, look at the borough, and there was a parking problem in school succession because people start showing up at 6 and they don't leave until 10, and trying to find a room that's free in there.
in a consortium library.
Yes.
How about
That's right nearby.
I think AMU's worth a try. I think
Yeah.
maybe we can get it cheaper.
Well, we
What?
have a problem though. If they're going to be closing in June, I think we should.
The facilities are going to have to be cared for in some manner. I doubt that it'll cause a problem, and even if it does, it won't be until June. We'll have a place to meet until then. Summer, we may be able to find a place
yes.
usually otherwise.
May I ask Jane and Jim to look into that for us? And knowing roughly where we'd like to be area-wise. And now, we're in a position now, and I have not thought about time as to meeting back again. Again, other than to say that I feel we should move and we're going to need quite a little bit of resource material. We're not going to be able to do much with that resource material until we find our location and set our time. I feel very strongly that there should be a place that you can go to, any one of the members of the commission go to and review any material that's available, minutes of the past meetings, charters from the previous two charters, and any other charters we can get as sample material. Any of that type of information. So I would ask Jane and Jim, and they're looking to also look for a place that would provide us a room that we did not have to move everything out of every time, that individuals could go to and do some research.
Mr. Chairman, are you speaking in that would be in, say, addition to the possibility that we will have an executive secretary and an office, or are you talking in an interim basis?
On the interim basis, so that we've got something to start work with.
If we're going to have an executive secretary with an executive office, why can't we use that as a meeting spot?
It'll be an expensive office.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to pay for it anyhow.
Depends upon where it is and
What the cost would be.
what the cost would be. Meanwhile, I think we should start gathering these things together.
I assume the secretary's employed full-time, is that what we're saying, 40 hours a week?
I would assume so.
So we would have to have an office for it.
Perhaps a portion of that time will be evening time. I suspect that that will be necessary, and perhaps she won't be there, or he won't be there the full day. Maybe afternoon and evening. Got to translate your minutes.
If you're going to rent an office for a couple of dollars more, you probably get one large enough to accommodate 11 people at a meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I think the important thing, though, that we have to remember, we have to be accessible to the public at all times, and we will, depending on the hotness of the issue, could go all the way from no audience and a couple of weary reporters to a great number of people, and I think that we need to consider that in our
Mr. Chairman, we would not be designating meeting place for hearings.
No. However, you will have, I feel that we should have our meetings open, that if there's a question that somebody wishes to come to the meeting, sit down, make a presentation, and leave at a work session without being a hearing. I believe that should be open to the public in that fashion.
I think all of our meetings should be open. This executive secretary, the only thing that bothers me is that we're going to use her as a straight secretary. Is that what you envision, Frank?
I envision a little bit more than just a straight secretary. Actually, I envision that person being involved in the handling of the publicity and doing the work that's going to keep this thing moving, making the calls, doing the secretarial work. Just a little bit more than, an executive secretary is really what I'm talking about. It's really,
What I'm getting at, I think the selling job
No.
that has to be done is the 11 people
that's our
with
our job.
are going to go out with the PR and sell this thing. I
Mr.
think if we're
Chairman.
going to depend on an executive secretary to do that, we're going to be very mistaken.
Mr. Chairman, just might point out that the last time, and Dick perhaps can remember the arrangement, the borough did provide, and it was very ably done by Mary Coffey, the actual recording secretary part. She took the minutes of the meeting and transcribed them, was able, as I recall, to utilize the borough equipment for that, and then you were able, the executive secretary, who was Marg Schmidt, handled, and that was one of her major functions, was the public information and public releases, and I think in a pinch took the minutes a couple of times, but I feel they should personally be two separate individuals.
Do others feel the same way? No. Good.
Yeah, I'm open.
Okay. Well, I think we've got a few things to get accomplished. I'd like to have an opinion as to when we should come back to meet again. I assume that at least the next meeting will be here until we locate some place for the regular meeting place. And I would suggest that it be within the week. What are the constraints of time for all of you? How often do you want to meet? And I think that's something we ought to pretty well make up our minds to now. I was talking to Dick the other day about it, and I was talking about 2 or 3 meetings a week, which is a pretty tough schedule. But Dick was thinking of 1 meeting a week. Well, what I want to do, so we're all here, or almost all here, all the time, as often as we can, and still get the job done. What do you think, Fred?
I think 1 a week minimum. 1 a week. Definitely. You need continuity on this.
Bill?
Once a week.
Sure.
I'd say at least once a week, and when we have public hearings, those would be in addition to our regular meeting.
Right.
And that if we had that one time certain, I think it would help in the consistency of the thing. And if we wanted
One
more,
of
we
us
could
should
add.
travel anyway, so we have 1 night a week, we can kind of plan around it. On nights that you have 2 meetings, some are going to miss probably.
Yeah. How about you, Dick?
Yeah,
Whatever, Jay.
I would prefer once a week.
One. Joe? Mary? Okay. Well, now what day is going to be a good day for us to meet? Thursday? Monday, Mary?
Everything except Monday.
Huh? Anything except...
Go with
Anything,
anything except Monday.
anything but Wednesday.
Well,
Monday, Tuesday's good for me.
Tuesday.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Wednesday or
Oh,
Thursday.
that's right.
Well, maybe we should go around and
So you
mark
have a
them.
particular problem right now, don't you?
I could perhaps switch around. But
The
right
end of the
now,
week.
I'm here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
What about Thursday? I
How
haven't
about-
heard any objections to Thursday.
Fine. About
How many can Thursday?
Thursday?
Who can't?
Jim?
Fine.
I can't,
You, Jane can't.
I can change it, but
Can that be changed?
I have to drop out of school.
Oh, other than that, you don't have no problem.
The house of Wowing out would probably.
I'm going to hiss before you say it.
Saturday.
Friday night?
Friday night?
Friday night's all right by me.
How about Sunday morning?
That's the sweetest night of the week.
Friday
About
night?
6?
Friday
Friday
night.
night's great.
Friday night.
Friday?
go with
Believe
me.
it or not,
No.
once basketball season's over.
Well, let's start around. Lisa, Friday?
Boogie
Well,
night.
what day of the week for you?
Tuesday. I'll go with Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Who can't make it until
Tuesday and Thursday.
Jane?
well, I'll go for Wednesday, Friday, I guess.
Tuesday.
There's gotta be one in every
Okay.
crowd.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. How's that?
Okay, any day, huh?
Well, except Friday. I'm not very fond of that idea.
No.
Harry?
Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday. Bill?
Monday or Tuesday, but I realize Monday's probably
Monday or Tuesday. Fred?
Monday through Thursday.
Okay. Joe?
Wednesday or Thursday.
Wednesday or Thursday.
I'll go any day except Monday.
All right.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All right, we've got
Arliss. Did you get yours on there?
Yes. Tuesday and Thursday.
it looks like you could have 3 for sure on Tuesday, plus 3 who can take any Tuesday or any other day. You could have 3, 4 on Wednesday, 5 on Wednesday. 5 on Wednesday. You could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 on Thursday,
Plus 3.
plus 3. So that's 7. And you could have 1 Friday, really.
Mr. Reed, I noticed that they said they preferred. I didn't notice that they said they couldn't come
Yeah,
on
that's
Friday.
right.
And I think you
That's
better
right.
go around and ask again as to which can't come on Friday. I don't think that's fair.
Who can't come on Friday then?
I would say that as a practical matter, if we are making our meetings open to the public, that Friday is generally an evening where there are unscheduled but otherwise important commitments that people make. And I would say that in a pinch we could meet on Fridays on an irregular basis, but to set a regular meeting time of Friday night, I think would be.
I agree, sure, because most of your events happen on Friday around here.
I'm
Mr. Chairman?
gonna, I'll take
I
a
know some
poll
of you
on
don't
Thursday.
attend these
Oh,
events, but,
I've got Jane was the only one that objected to
Right.
Thursday, and I'm going to put her in a spot and see if she can drop out of class.
This class I'm teaching, so I'll quit teaching it.
Are you?
oh, well, that's all right.
Well, that's the only way I can do it.
You can work it out,
Dick
then.
Fisher is teaching it too.
Give her a passing grade right now. And have it over.
Give her an A and an early withdrawal. That'll
Well,
be
higher
Tuesday.
education, higher education keeps deteriorating all the time.
Well, I'm it's satisfactory
good
with me
old days.
Wednesday or Thursday. I prefer Wednesday or Thursday. I'll take
I'd
any.
move we meet on Thursdays. See if that flies.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, then.
Poor Jane.
All right,
You have
Thursday.
alternates, Jane?
Lisa?
Yeah.
Huh?
I'll go for it.
Okay. Alice?
Yay.
Yay. Jane?
I'm going to vote against it.
Dick?
Yes.
Vic? Sherry? Yes. Bill?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Phil?
Crawford.
Aye. Mary?
It's
And
the
Jim.
least desirable other than Monday, but I told
Well,
you.
I think it's 10 to 1, Jane. Can you figure a way around it?
Yeah.
Okay, I think Thursday would be a better deal. For the various reasons given.
Go to class from 6:30 to 9:30.
Mr. Chairman, since we have Mr. Thurlow holding up the wall there,
Okay.
I wonder if we might ask the legal department if they might be able to supply us with some preliminary early things, such as a copy of, for all the commissioners of Title 29 for starters, and I don't know what the accessibility of those would be, and possibly the city charter, the second go-around on the charter. I don't know if you have some of the basic resource material or not.
We only have one copy of that charter, but we can run Xerox copies.
It's not too long.
Of Title 29. Do you have some?
So you've got a bunch of stuff here. The clerk has got it.
The clerk has it?
Yeah.
I have extra copies of charter and a lot of minutes.
But would it be possible to get just a basic
What, the
Material.
copies of Title 29 we can Xerox them for you.
Well,
And
yeah.
the other, we can get from the clerk apparently.
Could I suggest, Mr. Chairman, that you appoint someone to go through the material and at their judgment see what copies are necessary and supply all the commission members with copies of voluminous documents that are available in the clerk's office.
Suggestions is well taken, I think, especially on the fact that to have it available and know which is the more important to read. Of course, I think all of us are going to have to go into it. Some of you have. I'd ask Mary, who has more access than the rest of us around here, to the clerk's office and whatnot.
I ask over the counter or just sit at the chairs and ask questions, same as the rest of them.
Okay. Well, then I'll ask you as a charter commission member to get the material together and see what we have, and if you need assistance from any one of us, why?
Don, you say you got some
Well,
of those extra copies of
I have
those
some
charters?
extra copies of charters, and I've got a file that I kept what I thought was important material. I don't know how extensive it is.
About the charters should go, Sitka.
We'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Those are all available in the clerk's office. and in
She's
files.
got just all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
We have pretty extensive files and turn back over to the clerk's.
Good.
All right.
I'll get what I can for you.
All right. Fine. Do we have any other things? If we come back on next Thursday, I'll see to the arrangement for
What time is
space.
our meeting?
And I feel that personally feel that we should meet fairly early in the evening and get out as early as we can, and without missing dinner. I'd say 7:15 or something like that, if that's possible for us to meet. Does that work for you,
He's
folks?
put a brown bag.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dick?
Early dinners always give me trouble because I never eat until late, but I'll do anything the rest of the commission wants to do. But I prefer to leave at 8 o'clock, and I think we can handle a meeting. I would hope we can handle them in such a way that we'll get out by 10:30 or 11.
I want a compromise of 7:30.
Second.
Second.
Can you make it at 7:30 then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's set it 7:30 and try that.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's appropriate to have an election for deputy chairman.
Yes, and there are going to be times, no doubt, that I may be out sick or away,
Well, it's required.
and it's logical that we should have it required in 29. And Chair will entertain nominations for deputy chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Sherry Holmes.
Sherry Holmes has been nominated. Are there any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Joe Josephson.
Joe Josephson has been nominated. Are there any other
Nominate
nominations?
Dick Fisher.
I'd like to decline, if you don't mind.
Is that? Is it running?
I'll nominate Jim Park.
That would decline.
And you said you'd decline.
Mr. Chairman, I'll nominate Arliss.
I would decline.
What's wrong? Have I got the flu?
Fred, I like you personally.
That
Here,
whole
here.
block.
The move that the nomination be
You
closed.
want me to tear the paper this
Second.
time?
Yeah.
Those were marked ballots the last
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, if you'd, Jane?
Tearing the paper?
Oh,
Jane, you want to have some paper? Oh, Harlan.
He doesn't let me tear it. No,
I
we need,
delegated that
we
responsibility.
need some of yours. There's 4,
Terry.
Well, we could have smaller ballots, you know, only for deputy.
8, 9. We need 2. Smart. No wonder those guys recite jokes. I can see that.
Hang on to it.
Is that a ballot?
I don't think you're being held out on. Hey, we're short one.
No, we had 11.
That's
No, we had 4, you said 4 on this, you only had 3.
You got 4 out of each one. Joe's sitting here without a ballot, folks.
the old math.
Keep him out of a vote.
Who are the nominees?
Joe, the
Sherry Holmes
There you
and
go.
Joe Josephson.
Do we have speeches in this case too? I think
Now,
No,
I'll ask the
No, we're
ombud,
the lead.
I'll ask the ombudsman to count ballots again.
We already got them all.
job.
No, wait till he gets all of them. We'll count them. Got them all. Yeah, another one there.
While we're counting, Mr. Chairman, does that mean we'll have a meeting this coming Thursday?
Yes.
Okay. That was my assumption.
What day of the week are we? Oh, next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Next
This is
Thursday,
Thursday.
Didn't think we had enough week.
You might check to make sure that the library's
Right.
available.
Well, I'll arrange and see that you're called as to where, if there's a change of location, where we,
Mr. Chairman, I did no objection if the committee that's looking into other facilities come up with another place. If somebody, if the clerk's office would call us and tell us it's somewhere else, I'd just as soon.
Now, this gets a little tight.
Yeah. We may have some public there.
The assembly hall, maybe.
yeah.
I think it's.
I don't think we want to do that, Don.
I'd prefer not to if we can.
Joe.
Somebody reading?
Joe. 3-2 so far in favor of Sherry. 4-2. Joe. 4-3. Joe.
Neck and neck race. This sure isn't a wishy-washy commission.
Say, that's it. Joe.
How did
The
it
winner
go?
is Joe Josephson.
7?
That last one went on my phone, just to keep it straight.
You had 5,
5 to 6 again.
5, 6.
Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Josephson. Vice Chairman.
Find a trash can as you go out the door.
We're giving to them a handwriting.
Keep
aid.
a pocket
Destroy
full.
them because you're not supposed to pass them around and read handwriting or anything like that, so they give them the recording secretary.
No, Joe Graham
Destroy.
may want them.
Now, we're going to- you saw
Don't
what
give them to
happened up the
anybody
hill.
because they can read handwriting.
If there's no,
You got that?
have you any further business to come before the meeting tonight?
My name and address and phone number is wrong.
Other than that,
Okay, what's your, always like these gals to give you the right phone number.
Somebody holding out on a sheet like
What
that
is it,
for me.
Jane?
My phone number.
Seems
my
like
phone
everybody
number-
else has one, but they didn't
We're
give
going to give you
me.
a part of one right there.
If you tore that off, that's yours. You give me the good.
He's written on that one.
I already do on my own.
What's your right deal there, James?
My home phone number is 277-6248.
277-6248.
All right.
And the address is 3807 Iowa.
What, Iowa?
Yeah. Iowa Drive.
991.
And Mr.
503.
Shy, are you EI? Or I've seen your name so many times.
IEI, just like Jones. IEI. CHIEI.
That is correct.
So Plymouth.
Other changes?
I'd like to point out that the work number listed after my name is my husband's office, and you can leave messages there, but only if you absolutely have to get hold of it.
Maybe we shouldn't have it.
No, that's all right. He doesn't mind, but
And you can add an office number.
When he comes home.
Office number for Jim?
My office number is 274-9239.
274.
9239.
9239.
Whoops. I'm asleep.
274-9239.
Oh, I was thinking about something. Okay.
If anybody wants to reach me, the best time is in the morning.
Mornings.
And the same with me.
AM.
Before 8 o'clock.
Are you talking about Mrs. Oh, well, Mary's early too.
It doesn't matter.
Harless, is that in
Late
the
at
AM?
night.
Yes, early.
Oh, okay.
Is there any daytime number at
Jim,
all
you-
for you, Mary, a message, or a message from you, right?
The
Jim,
clerk's
did you say-
office usually hits me sometime during the day, but if you really want to get me, you call me
Anytime.
before 8 in the morning.
I mean 2 in the morning kind of thing.
I'll never bother you then.
Well, I would be
Please
no
don't
bother,
call my
I assure
home.
you.
Please don't call my home, because I'm not going to be there to answer the phone, and my family doesn't like to get up after 8:30 at night.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
There is something I'd like to bring up. The law states that the assembly may grant a per diem allowance. In the past, the commission handled this rather clumsily and voted itself no salary, which it really didn't have the power to do. And perhaps Mary could bring this up at the next meeting. Handy having you here, Mary. Next assembly meeting, what the assembly wants to do about that,
All right,
because it's really up to the assembly. It's not up to us.
all right.
Mr. Chairman, what is that section again, Dick? I think that's an interesting point.
Yeah, the assembly may grant a per diem allowance
Does it state that in the
law.
in the law?
Yeah,
that's the exact wording.
and if you could ask Mary to check into that.
Okay, Mary,
Is there a meeting Tuesday?
There's going to be a
Saturday?
meeting Saturday night, and it could be brought up for business Monday night because it isn't scheduled for
That's a
Saturday
new
night.
Well, Monday be fine. I'm concerned with my budget. I mean, the budget that's going to be presented, that Bill and I are going to work on, and that should be part of it. If
I can check with them Monday night and see what their wishes are.
Yes.
Should we advise them of our wishes, though?
we could,
I would be suspicious if they'd like to know what your wishes are.
The precedent is that no.
Everything we can get.
Paid.
That's right.
that's what the commission did last
Double
time.
it if you can.
Well,
We should double the last salary.
I don't know what the sense of the group is. I would
We're gonna
move,
get
for the
paid,
sake of
we'll pay 'em
discussion, that in Mary's, that we authorize Mary Froney as an assemblywoman to signify our desire that no per diem be voted on.
I'll second that.
There's no per diem. Can Mary do that?
She can
Conflict
report
with
that.
you?
She can
I can report what you quote say that you would like.
Is there any discussion, further discussion on it?
When we say no per diem, right?
No per diem. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
I wouldn't care.
That's so ordered then. And Mary, if you would so report to the Assembly, we would appreciate it very much.
Make it known, this is a money-saving commission.
Absolutely.
Understood that we don't have to spend it all. If we've got $1 left, everything's fine and dandy.
Since Joe is an attorney, why do we have to engage an attorney?
Oh, come on.
I think it's
I think it is.
They only tie up
Vital.
things.
Because a person who represents herself as a full person.
You would have a prejudiced
My experience
viewpoint.
is most lawyers slow things
You
down.
have a prejudiced viewpoint on how a
It's
lawyer
like
would.
asking-
Well, Bill will provide us
Take
late
notes.
rooms, and I'll provide therapy.
Should be
What will you
a
get?
consultant when we need
Group
it.
therapy, I'll go in with you.
You know, lawyer.
But
Well,
initially,
Joe,
Hey,
what do you feel about an attorney as a staff attorney, or do you feel that we can prepare it in such a fashion that we can go to from intervals, pull in an attorney to do the cleaning up or relating our charter structure to the Constitution?
I'm just kind of guessing, Frank, those who served before, like you and Dick, might have better feel for it. I don't think it has to be a full-time person, but I think he has to attend meetings of the commission, because I think it would be unwieldy to say, can we do X or Y, or can we have what language would fit here, and not have anybody fill that role when we want him. So my thinking would be that it would be a part-time operation, but he would have rapport with us and be working with us when we need it.
This is fundamentally what I had in mind, except that I didn't think that he would have to be there consistently at all meetings.
Mr. Chairman, I
Larry?
don't see why we need a $50 an hour man at every meeting while we're discussing. I think that perhaps we ought to take action, perhaps not at every meeting, but at the action meetings perhaps we might wish to.
that's a good point.
He might not have to be there when you're taking testimony on some points, but that would be a fair solution.
I think I agree,
Bill?
except that there might be the time when if the attorney wasn't there, that we would call him back in the next meeting and say, well, we
Have to go over the same
we
ground.
discussed this, and could we have your opinion, and then we might be going back over ourselves, and he might not have the advantage of knowing our actual thinking at that meeting. I think I'm opposed to having an attorney every meeting, but I don't know how to get around it sometimes.
Even when he's at the meeting, you're gonna find an attorney who'll do that. He'll rerun the whole thing.
Several more.
If
Well,
Mr. Chairman, if
Yes,
there's
sure.
a thorny enough question, I think the attorney is going to want to go back and do a little research and report at the next meeting anyway. We will have minutes of our meetings, and presumably he could listen back to the tape, the pertinent area of the tape, if we did conduct discussion without him being present. I think this is something that we will need to sort out as we go along. We can have an idea in mind, but if we find it's unworkable, I think we have to reserve the right to call him in more frequently if we decide not to have him.
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
just giving me trouble because Bill and I are going to get together and make up this budget. This has a tremendous bearing on the budget, and I would have to do it based on my experience. And my experience is that the only way you ever get anything done with definitive nature is that you have the actual writing, the actual wording of it, and you wouldn't want to take that action without an attorney. And that, as a practical matter, there are few meetings where you're in this type of job where you're discussing philosophy exclusively. We'll invariably be discussing wording, invariably want the approval of the attorney before, at least I will. I'm not a lawyer, and I will want the approval of the attorney before I put it down in black and white and final and vote on it.
I object to the use of the word approval of the attorney. The attorney can only advise.
Mr. Chairman,
We take the approval
I'll take
Yeah.
I'll take the other end of the continuum. I think that we should do most of the drafting ourselves and then get it together for the attorney to get it into legalese and then go over it.
I understand.
No,
Mr. Chairman,
sure.
as regards the budget, I don't think you're going to be able to pin down an even close figure for attorney's costs. Even if you assume that we have an attorney at every meeting, you're going to have no idea how many hours he's going to need to spend outside of our meeting times in order to do the tasks that we assign to him. So it's going to have to be a flexible budget in any event.
Joe?
I think part of this has to be answered by, first, your subcommittee on legal personnel can discuss with possibilities their approach to the job. And I think we'll get a better idea. Finding out people might be approved by this group as to how they would like to work with the commission. I think that would have a lot of bearing.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just one thing that I would hope that Mr. Josephson can bring, or Joe could bring back to us, would be one concern I have, having in connection, say, with the Planning Commission, when I'll do deference to the Borough Attorney's Office. When we've had someone on hand, the body tended to rely very much on the judgment of that attorney rather than exercising the rather broad powers that they have. And yet I share very much Dick's concern that we have legal advice there readily available. I'm wondering if you might consider, in the things you'll be doing, of perhaps some guidelines that we could develop that would kind of protect us from ourselves. In other words, we could have that advice available, but not get into these constraints that can be put on by having an attorney.
I think this is always I've had the experience of being a city attorney myself. And it's a very difficult role because you need, the body should frankly talk with the attorney about what kind of role we want that attorney to play. Do we want the attorney to be
participatory,
to be a participant who makes policy input, or do we want the attorney to be strictly an advisor on legal issues?
My feel is advisor.
Yeah, definitely.
Mr. Chairman, might we take the approach that we hire an attorney as a consultant and draw up a contract with him, and for then whatever meetings we feel that he should come to, we could call him, and then figure it out, just when you're drawing the budget, figure out, kind of an estimate on what would be, a reasonable fee to pay him, and
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to give my opinion about the way I think it ought to work. I wasn't doing that, and but did say the way it did work last time, we'll slack off from that quite a bit if that's the desire of the commission. But I did want some guidance in making up the budget.
I would hope we could work with the legal subcommittee.
Although the